Venezuela is already invaded. As U.S. military pressure on Nicolás Maduro's government continues to escalate, several analysts warn about the possibility of an American intervention in Venezuela. The skepticism is justified. Military operations in other countries carried by the U.S. have been, on some occasions, disastrous. But that framing misses the essential truth. Venezuela has already been invaded. Cuba's presence is the most entrenched. Investigations by Reuters and others have shown that Cuba has helped Venezuela restructure its intelligence apparatus by training Venezuelan agents and embedding Cuban advisors within my country's military intelligence office. By doing so, they have shifted the unit's mission away from external threats toward internal surveillance of the armed forces and opposition. And as Joe Suarez shows in his book Leviathan, Cuba has also sent torturers to Venezuela to train my country's militaries in persecution and repression strategies. Cuba has also sent doctors to Venezuela to participate in Chavez and Maduro-led social programs. This in exchange for extremely cheap oil for the island nation. While this sounds nice in theory, these doctors have also been paid for by the Venezuelan government, and their presence has severely limited the possibilities of doctors born and taught in Venezuela, which have been historically very skilled, to work in the public sector. What is often framed as solidarity should instead be understood as a form of extractive colonialism, with Cuba, of course, as our colonial overlord. China's role is more technocratic but still troublesome. Over the last 15 years, Beijing has secured tens of billions of dollars in oil-backed loans, exclusive access to strategic mineral zones, and highly preferential infrastructure contracts. In many of these projects, Chinese companies have brought a large number of their own workers, often exceeding the ratio permitted by Venezuelan labor law and relegating Venezuelans to low-wage, low-skill positions. Many of the projects that have been agreed upon by the Venezuelan and Chinese governments, by the way, are still unfinished. Russia has also had a role in the tarnishing of Venezuela's sovereignty. Its supply of military equipment to Venezuela has provided stability to a dictatorship that does not represent the will of the people and allowed it to sow more fear among such a people. Reports also document the arrival of Russian private military contractors linked to Wagner to reinforce the security ring around Maduro. This while giving Russia's oil and gas company Rosarubesneft preferential deals for joint exploitation ventures in Venezuelan soil in times in which access to gasoline has become more limited for the Venezuelan people. Alongside these state actors, large parts of Venezuelan territory have been ceded to foreign armed groups. The ELN and multiple FARC dissident factions operate as de facto authorities in regions like Apure and Bolivar. The Russian paramilitary group Wagner that I mentioned earlier, too. They control mining corridors, have extortion practices, and also force locals into work in quite difficult conditions, while, in the case of Bolivar, ruining the region's ecosystem. In Venezuela South, in this state I just mentioned, these groups extract gold and coltan with brutal methods, often in partnership with local authorities. It is an occupation from below, allowed and at times encouraged from above. Venezuela is not exactly at risk of losing its sovereignty in the future. It has been steadily surrendering it for years. Instead of parroting talking points from Maduro's propaganda apparatus, when pondering a potential future invasion of Venezuela, let's hear out what Venezuelans themselves have to say, what Edmundo Gonzalez, elected as president last year, has to say, and call for the freedom of my people instead of our continued oppression. Be sure that if any violence occurs in Venezuelan soil in the future, the person to blame is Maduro for not leaving power when he should have.